In our reading from Ephesians, we hear of Jesus' work in bringing those who did not know God before to have the opportunity to be in relationship with God, to know God for the first time. And I think a story that helps in understanding this comes from one of C.S. Lewis's books in the Chronicles of Narnia series. And that book is The Horse and His Boy. And The Horse and His Boy is set in this period, for those who know The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, it's set in the period after the four children have ascended to the throne of Narnia. And it's in this time far away in Kellar, this country way south of Narnia, that there's this boy, Sasha. Now, Sasha has been raised all his life as a fisherman's son. But a stranger comes one day. And it's the stranger who asks this fisherman to sell Sasha to him. And it's in that moment that Sasha learns that this fisherman is not his father, that he does not come from this village. Now, fortunately, this stranger happens to have a horse with him, a horse from Narnia, a horse who can talk and is intelligent. And this horse and Sasha come up with a plan to escape. Now, along their journey, they run into some lions who force them to meet up in the river with two other travelers, another horse from Narnia and a young girl wishing to escape getting married. And along the way, this group gets separated at various times. And they learn through this separation of a plot to attack Narnia. They decide to do something about that. And it's as they're at the end of their journey, it's as they're trying to get out the siren call about this attack, that yet another lion comes and attacks the horses. And so Sasha is left as the only one with any strength to continue on, with any strength to give that call, to give that warning of this imminent attack. And Sasha does, he's successful, but as he's successful, he gets left behind. Now he knows that the attacking army is near, and he's safe. But he wanders along alone and miserable. It's in this moment that Sasha notices a traveler with him. He's not sure about this traveler at first, but after getting assurances of his safety, he tells the traveler his story and his sorrows. And it's at this moment that this traveler tells Sasha, on hearing his story, "I do not call you unfortunate." And Sasha, confused like many of us might be at this point in the story, he says, "Don't you think it was bad luck to meet so many lions?" The traveler replies, "There was only one lion, but he was swift of foot." And bewildered Sasha asked, "How do you know?" And the traveler has this long response. "I was the lion. I was the lion who forced you to join the others. I was the cat who comforted you among the houses of the dead. I was the lion who drove the jackals from you while you slept. I was the lion who gave the horses the new strength of fear for the last mile so you should reach King Luke in time. And I was the lion you do not remember, who pushed the boat in which you lay, a child near death, so that it came to shore where a man sat, wakeful at midnight to receive. So those who know the Narnia stories well will have figured out that this lion is Aslan. Aslan the lion. Aslan who's the stand-in for Christ and for God in the Narnia stories. So even though Sasha had no idea who Aslan was, he had no way to know who this great being is, Aslan has still been watching over Sasha his entire life. And now that Sasha has crossed the river and is over in the kingdoms of the north, just outside Narnia, now he gets this deeper connection with Aslan. Now he knows who Aslan is more fully. And the story always chokes me up because it's a reminder to us as well. It's a reminder that God is with us. Even when we don't know who God is, even when it doesn't seem like God is there, God is still present. God is present and helping us in our own troubles. And our hope in reading through Ephesians is that we will always feel that connection, that we will be those ones who come closer to God. Our hope, too, is that we'll become so close that, as we heard in the 23rd Psalm, that when we are in the valley of death, that we will fear no evil, because we know that God is with us. We know that God is with us to protect us and guide us. Now, for Vivian this morning, our hope for her as we get ready to baptize her is that she will never have a moment in her life where she doesn't know God. That unlike Sasha, she will not have this time of confusion, of not feeling God's presence, of not being aware of God around her. And it's up to us. It's up to all of us to make sure that that is the case for her. To make sure that she grows up always knowing that God is there. Even when the worst of things might happen. And even when she might need to be spurred on like the horses to do the work that God has given her to do. And that's our hope for all of us. That we will be there to help one another. To help us all realize the presence of God in our own lives. Our hope in being here is that we will continue to move closer to God. That we will never feel separation or alienation from our Lord. And our hope in that is that we can go out and give that good news of God's presence with us always. And we can remind people that the gift of baptism is there to bring us all closer to God so that we might know Him more fully. And our hope in doing that is that we continue to grow that household of God that we enter into in baptism, as we hear in Ephesians. That we will continue to grow that household so that more and more people can know that God is ever present in their lives.